Hey, I'm back. This is like the part two, I guess, of my vinyl collection of live in concert albums, and which span all eras, all genres. So let's get into it again. One of my performer who's one of the true absolute artists, I think, in music history, Joni Mitchell. Miles of Isles. This is pretty easy to come by. In fact, I got like 2 or 3 copies. I gave one to my mom that she likes. So, and another famous folk pop ensemble, the New Christie Minstrels in person at the Troubadour. And you'll notice, I noticed that like certain venues were like common, like the Troubadour, Carnegie Hall. It's like, you know, certain bands. It's like this at Carnegie Hall is like you've really made it in the business when you play Carnegie Hall. And speaking of that, got Buck Owens and his Buckaroos at the Carnegie Hall. One of the famous 60s performers. And like I said, here's another one. Johnny Rivers at the Whiskey A Go Go, recorded live, very live. And he was a real fixture, I guess, back then in the 60s. And another kind of famous performer who went solo, John Sebastian from The Lovin' Spoonful, you probably know or remember. You see that? This is one I bought, I think, when it came out, and I've seen him a couple times back in the 70s. Bob Seger and the Silver Bullet Band, Live Bullet. And this is dating myself when I say this, but I've seen him, I know it was a couple times in like the mid to late 70s when I first was able to go to concerts. I never went to many, but I remember the first one, it was at the Milwaukee Arena. And we had good seats, me and a friend, and we paid like $7. $7. You can't even go to a movie for that now. So, but that was a long time ago. You know, we got a famous solo from a famous duo who went solo. Paul Simon, Ryman Simon, live Ryman. And then many years later, and it doesn't seem that long ago, reunited with Art, the concert in Central Park. Now here's one that goes back. This is, you know, probably one of the greatest performers of the 20th century, really, pop performers. Frank Sinatra with Count Basie. And I would recommend anybody, I don't care what your age is, you know, find some Frank Sinatra records or whatever. He's probably one of the greatest solo performers of all time, really, singers, whatever. Now this one, I wasn't really a big Springsteen fan, and in fact I never even played any of this record, but I found it for like $5, and it's a bargain. It's like in mint condition. I couldn't believe my luck when I found this. Bruce Springsteen live. This is a box set, and I'll show you real quick what was in it. It's got a great little booklet. Great pictures in here, lyrics. And from memory, I remember when record stores were still selling vinyl in the mid, this came out I think in 86, 87. I remember seeing this on display at a record store, and I think the price was at least $50. You know, $50 back then. So, but I got it for like I think $5 or $6, $7, and it's like I said, it's mint condition, so can't go wrong. One of my famous or most favorite performers also here, from like Buffalo Springfield, Crosby, Stills, Nash Young. Stephen Stills live, and then acoustic and electric sides there. Now we're going into the Motown era. Got the Supremes. The Supremes at the Copa on Motown. And another famous pop group of the late 60s, early 70s, the Three Dog Night. I remember as a kid on, listening to AM radio in that time area, you could not escape this band. It's like they always had a record out in the top 10 or something. Now here's a more eclectic singer-songwriter, kind of a cult performer, I guess you'd call him, from Texas, Townes Van Zandt, in Houston. Now we're going into old country stuff. One of the older country guys, Ernest Tubb and his Texas Troubadours. See the back there. Now another famous folk group back in the controversial 50s, the Weavers, and they're Carnegie Hall. It's volume 2. I don't have volume 1. You see that back there on Vanguard. There's another kind of folk pop guy, Glenn Yarborough, at the Hungry I. And it's a lot of these guys, they played that. Hungry I. That I stood for intellectual. That was kind of like a club for comedians and folkies back then. One of my favorite all-time performers, Neil Young, Time Fades Away. If you're a Neil Young fan, you must find this record if you don't have it already, because this is the songs he does in this album, he only did on this tour. None of these songs were from a studio record or whatever. They were only done and performed during this tour, so they were unique to this album. Another famous Neil Young live album. This is from the late 70s, Live Russ. This is pretty common. Like Russ Never Sleeps. I bought this. I think I bought this pretty much when it came out. Now this one I think might be valuable because it's got some famous. It's a famous concert festival. It's from the Newport Folk Festival, 1963. And if you can see that detail, you can see Bob Dylan, Pete Seeger, some of the other famous ones. You got Joan Baez there with Bob Dylan, Phil Oakes, I believe that's how you pronounce it. And I wish I could play some of this. Maybe later on another video I might. But the microphone on this webcam, if I try to pick up anything farther away from my voice, it sounds really funky. But maybe I can kind of show you some of the stuff on here. If I can do that. There I go. On side 1, Bob Dylan, Pete Seeger, Ye Playboys and Playgirls. The Freedom Singers, Joan Baez, Bob Dylan on the bottom there, with Guy on our side. This may not. I know they've had videos released of some of this Newport stuff with Bob Dylan. They may not have these songs on there, so I don't know. Like I said, I couldn't even find this in my collection, my gold mine collector's book. So it might be valuable. I don't know. I know all you Dylan collectors out there, you might know something I don't. So whatever comments people leave on this video, I love your feedback. So last one I got to show you, it's not the first Woodstock. It was a Woodstock 2, but it's got some, it's got Jefferson Airplane on there and a bunch of other groups at that time. So I'm not going to show you the front of this. It's got some naked kids on drums and stuff. It's kind of creepy. I'm not going to show you that because it's these days you can't be too careful. But anyway, yeah, that's I combed through my collection and I found all these albums. I probably missed some, But like I said, I hope you enjoy these videos, and I'll be making more off and on. It takes me time to comb through my collection and whatever topics I choose. But till then, I'll see you around. Thanks a lot. Bye.